Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay Avalon, and this is going to be the first of hopefully many YouTube videos. First of all, I apologize for the poor quality. I am just using my MacBook's webcam, so I know the picture's grainy and the audio may not be the greatest, but I'm working with what I have right now. I am an indie author with 4 books published on Amazon through Crushing Hearts and Black Butterfly Publishing. They are the largest independent publisher in the United States. My books include the first 3 of my Amazon best-selling Mithrian Realm series. All of my books, at one point or another, have been in the top 100 of their categories. A couple of them have actually been in the top 10 of their categories. And Breaking the Nexus, the first book of my Mithrian Realm, has at one time been ranked number 53 for all of the Amazon ebooks. My Mithrian Realm series is essentially my way of answering the question, what if all of the myths and legends you heard growing up were true? What if magic, demons, dragons, griffins, phoenixes, all sorts of things like that were real and at one time coexisted with us? Breaking the Nexus introduces my couple, Shaw Phoenix, a Mithrian sentinel or guardian of the Nexus, which separates her realm, the Mithrian realm, from Detective Connor Flynn's realm, which is the human realm. The Nexus, as my tagline states, is breaking and all hell is about to unleash. Shaw Phoenix ends up crossing the Nexus inadvertently and landing smack in the middle of a gruesome crime scene that Detective Connor is investigating. Naturally, they are attracted to each other, and in addition to trying to figure out what happened, how Shaw ended up in the middle of this crime scene, how she ended up even in the human realm, and what's going on with all of the demons that are suddenly appearing in Denver, Colorado. Previously, they just had to deal with everyday criminals, such as murderers, thieves, that sort of thing. Connor and Shaw really have to band together, and of course they end up falling in love because I do write dark fantasy romance. It ends on a bit of a cliffhanger, but have no fear. There are 2 more books in the Mithrian realm that are currently out. Warrior Unleashed actually gives things from the side of Mithria, featuring Shaw's half-brother, Achaeus, who is a panther chimera, which is my version of what a shifter is, and his mate, Saya, who is also a sentinel and is a sorcerer. Shaw is also a sorcerer. Shaw controls the elements of water and fire, whereas Saya controls the air elements. In their book, Caius and Saya have to deal with an unseen enemy who is targeting and murdering sentinels, and this enemy sets their sights on Saya. So while for years they've kind of danced around their attraction, when his mate is threatened, Achaeus can no longer stand back and just let things happen. Whereas Breaking the Nexus had been set primarily in Denver, Warrior Unleashed gives you more of a look into the Mithrian realm and some of the creatures, and a little bit more into what's happening on that side as the Nexus starts to crumble. The 3rd book that's out right now is Waking the Phoenix, which is the 2nd of Shaw and Connor's trilogy. It takes place in Mithria, and I unfortunately can't tell you very much more than that without giving away spoilers from book 1. So I highly recommend, if you're into dark fantasy, please go give that a try. I think you'll really enjoy it. I've heard great things from my readers, and the 3rd book of that will be out in April, but more on that in a little bit. The 4th book I have out right now is called Song of the Abyss, and it is very loosely based off of The Little Mermaid. It is about Princess Nerissa, who is a Selkie princess. For those of you unfamiliar with the term, a Selkie is able to don the skin of a seal. So in the ocean, they can swim as a seal, and when they journey onto land, they shed their skin. She was forced into an arranged marriage with the Prince Himesh, who is one of twins, and the eldest twin, and he's also a bit of a sadistic bastard, who on their wedding day attempts to murder Nerissa. And in the course of her escape, Nerissa is trapped in the mid-transformation. So the lower half of her is the body of a seal, while the upper half of her is still a woman's body. Hence, the very loose basis on a mermaid. She takes to the sea, unable to escape on land. She can't walk, unwilling to go back to her family in her current state, as well as being extremely pissed that they had forced her into this marriage to this psychopath. She hides in a cave, using her voice to lure men to her through a compulsion, such as like with a siren. And her hope is that she will lure her would-be husband so she can have her revenge. Instead of bringing Himesh to her, she actually brings his twin, Lyle, who unfortunately was framed for Nerissa's apparent murder and about to be executed. He escapes, and during his escape, answers Nerissa's call, and together they vow to take their revenge on Himesh. It's a novella. It's a really quick read. I had so much fun writing that. Originally, it appeared in an anthology with a different publishing house, but I have since completely rewritten it, and it honestly is one of my favorite things. So that's what I have out right now. Coming this year, in March, I will be releasing the first of a military romance series called Hidden Battles. And the heroine of this, her name is Ariana. She actually embodies a lot of the physical struggles that I have. I hope to tell more about this in future videos, but recently I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder called Sjogren's, which causes widespread inflammation, especially in my joints and in certain membranes, such as causing dry eye and dry mouth. It's a lot of times accompanied with lupus. And so Ariana is diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder after experiencing pain in her joints, stiffness, essentially feeling like an old woman, which is a lot of what I had to deal with. And this happens while her best friend and fiance is stationed in an unknown location because he's a Navy SEAL and on a top secret mission. And so her fiance Breck is going to have to help her deal with the ramifications of getting this diagnosis, deal with both good days and bad days, and deal with, as the title implies, these hidden battles. I wanted to write a heroine who struggles with such a debilitating condition as an autoimmune disorder because so many authors write perfect characters. I honestly am guilty of it myself. My characters in my Mithrin realm, they have their personality flaws of arrogance, impulsivity, things like that. But physically, I admit, they are pretty perfect. They may have scars, but they don't really have any kind of disability. But I didn't want to write about typical disabilities such as paralysis, blindness, or deafness, because I have no experience with any of those. Autoimmune disorders are typically invisible until they get to the extremely debilitating stage. And unfortunately, a lot of authors, actually really I can't think of a single one, really write about these, probably partially because they don't know and understand them. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter, but because for quite a while, I have struggled with the effects of having an autoimmune disorder. I wanted to write a heroine who isn't perfect and deals with daily pain and stiffness and feeling like you're 80 when you're only in your 20s. And everything that goes along with that, the fear that it's going to get worse, the fear that you will have the diagnosis that means down the road you could be completely rendered immobile or even worse. So I'm extremely excited to write this book. It's part of my new Hidden series, which is going to be gut-wrenching, tear-jerking. There will be happily ever afters, I promise, for all of the characters, but it's going to be a struggle to get there. So Hidden Battles will be released on March 21st. On April 14th, I will be releasing book 3 of the Sean Connor trilogy called Shaking the Balance. Again, I cannot really tell you anything without giving away crucial details, but this will wrap up Shaw and Connor's trilogy, but it will not be the end of them. They will appear in future books with other characters. On June 6th, I will be releasing book 3.5, which will be called Broken Angel. It will feature 2 characters introduced in previous books from the Mithrin realm. Ares, who is an alpha wolf chimera, which again, they are my version of a shifter, and Castalia, who is a oracle over in the Mithrian realm. So think Oracle of Delphi, just not as psychotic. Where Ariana from Hidden Battles embodied the physical struggles that I've had, Castalia will embody a lot of the more emotional struggles with anxiety, with sensory processing issues, and again, it's going to be an imperfect heroine struggling and overcoming, not completely, putting in the past, because you never fully recover from something as debilitating as, anxiety or having problems processing sensory input. But with her mate, Ares, she will end up being able to move past it. However, in Broken Angel, it's just going to give detail on her past as well as how she meets Ares. In July, on July 24th, will be the actual novel for Ares and Castalia called War's Angel. And this will be right around the time, kind of running parallel to the previous books in the Mithrian realm, because literally chaos is just reigning all throughout the human and Mithrian realms. So for a while, a lot of the books will have a little bit of overlap in the timelines, but there will not actually be overlap in the content, except very small parts. I don't believe in rewriting a book from different perspectives. I do believe in giving different characters in different areas their viewpoint, but each book will have a pretty unique plot, so don't be scared off by the fact that they do kind of run parallel to each other. 2 other books that I'm hoping will be released this year, but I still need to work out dates with my publisher, will be Beautiful Mistake, which features, again, 2 characters introduced with my trilogy. Ian Kendrick is a human who is Connor's partner on the Denver police force, and Brenna Flynn, who is Connor's baby sister. As I'm sure you can imagine, when you're in love with your partner's baby sister, that is just going to cause all sorts of problems, especially when your partner's your best friend. So, Beautiful Mistake is a novelette that explores a moment of weakness where Ian and Brenna give in to this attraction that they have felt for a while. Brenna's all for it. Ian is very skeptical since he doesn't feel like he can move in on his partner's little sister. Hence why it's going to be called Beautiful Mistake. Hopefully the month after that's released will be Ian and Brenna's full-length novel called Beautiful Danger. Right now I'm not sure whether it will be set primarily in the human realm or the Mithrian realm. My mind can go in a lot of different places. I can just promise you that it will center around Ian, and Brenna will also feature cameos from the other characters that I've introduced throughout the series, and will most likely introduce a couple others that will eventually get their books. The 7th book that I have in my head right now will be called Hidden Wounds, and it will be book 2 of the Hidden series. It will feature a man named Jonah, who is in Breck from Hidden Battles unit overseas, and when he comes back from overseas, he has both physical wounds and emotional ones in the form of PTSD that he will need to struggle with, and his woman, Isabel, will help him to overcome these as he helps her to overcome some of the problems that she has. Again, it's an imperfect hero. So many soldiers come back with PTSD, and they struggle with either admitting that they do actually have this problem, and that it is a real problem that they need help with, as well as it's not something that's very visible. You don't look at somebody usually and say, hey, they have PTSD. It's very close to my heart because one of my best friends was stationed overseas, and while she was stationed in a base, not on the front lines, when she came back, she did have PTSD. It was luckily a relatively mild form of it, but it did impact her life, and she's one of the strongest people I know, so I kind of wanted to honor her ability to move past her PTSD with trying to bring that to life in this character for my book. I have so many more ideas that are in my head. It's ridiculous, and I don't have time to go into all of them. But in future installments, I do plan on sharing some of those, as well as potentially sharing some little snippets from my various books. As I mentioned earlier, I do also plan to talk a little bit about my struggles with a sensory processing disorder. Basically, that means I don't process certain sounds and sensations and stuff like a normal person, which can make life extremely difficult at times for me. I also have anxiety problems, and that really impacted my life in ways that I couldn't really see until after I had received treatment for it. That has moved me past a lot of those problems. It really stifled my creativity, and until I was able to move past that and open the floodgates on my creativity, I really didn't know just how bad things had gotten. Additionally, as I mentioned earlier, I have had physical struggles dealing with intense joint pain and stiffness for quite a while. So I want to talk about both of those areas that I've struggled in, because a lot of times people, especially when it comes to anxiety, they suffer in silence. They just don't want to complain. They don't want to draw attention to it, and they suffer. Some of my coworkers remarked at how different I have been since starting medication for my joint pain. And when I explained how I had been in essentially constant pain, one of them said that he was surprised because I had never let on. And I replied, of course I didn't, because if I did, I'd complain every second of the day, and that's just not who I am. So I want to kind of, bring to light some of those issues that people just don't like to talk about. So I will talk more about that in future videos. So that's me, basically. There's a lot more to me, but please, in the comment section, ask me anything you'd like, anything you'd like me to do a video about, and I will do my best to address any of those questions. I highly encourage you to find me on Facebook. Just look up Lindsay Avalon. Feel free to friend me. Feel free to like my author page. You can also go onto my website at www.lindsay avalon.com. And you can find out more about my books, purchase signed paperbacks, and you will also find my social media links. So in the description, I will have links to finding me on Facebook, my website, my blog, and my Twitter. I'm most active on Facebook, just so you know. And I look forward to hearing from you. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.